welcome into Grimm's Gates of Horror. My name is Grimm, and this is your new haven for all things horror movie related. And today, I'm going to be reviewing the 2009 movie Jennifer's Body. Now, I've known about Jennifer's Body for many years now, but I've never gotten around to watching it. I have a lot of friends that are big fans of this movie, and they've been telling me to watch it for so long. And so now I'm finally getting around to watching it, and I was really intrigued and really interested because I've been a big fan of Megan Fox since the Transformers, and I've really enjoyed her like early work. She's just one of those actresses that I think are so underrated for her talent. And this is one of those movies where it really does showcase her talent a lot. And so let me get right into it. If you don't know, Jennifer's Body is a horror comedy that stars Megan Fox as the blood-sucking demon alongside Amanda Seyfried as her best friend. The movie follows Anita, nicknamed Needy, when she finds out her best friend Jennifer is possessed by a succubus demon and gets a hungry eye for guys who never stood a chance with her before and satisfies her hunger with their human flesh. After learning what's happening, Needy vows to put an end to the carnage. Now, like I said, this movie has been highly requested for me to watch by my friends, and I can totally see the appeal and why so many people enjoy this movie. Seyfried and Fox in this movie are amazing in their roles, and while the story does involve these supernatural aspects, this movie is also really good teen drama as well, with many of the plot points involving Needy's boyfriend and Jennifer seeming almost jealous or possessive over her best friend, potentially hinting to something more between the two that is not made known but is kept as a subliminal plot line. There were many scenes where it felt like purposely the chemistry between Seyfried and Johnny Simmons was not there, and I think that has to do with a not so straight underlying tone, and the story almost acts as a metaphor for what it's truly about. And I think the way the director executed the story in this way was actually brilliant, especially since this movie was marketed to the male gaze when it seems more for the female gaze, as this movie also has symbolism for feminism and women taking the power back from guys, which I thought was portrayed really well, especially when seeing the context of what happened to Jennifer to become this succubus demon. This movie also has a good amount of jokes which made me laugh, and I honestly didn't expect this movie to be as funny as it really is. And there's so many one-liners in this movie where I'm just like, oh my god, like that line is so iconic, this line is so iconic, and I can just see a lot of people like quote these lines like just off the top of their head. The movie also surprisingly does not drag at all, but it's also not a movie that pulls you in as well because it doesn't need to when you have Megan Fox and Seyfried in the leading roles. I also personally feel like one of the reasons I'm not as crazy for this movie as my female friends is because I don't feel a deep connection to the story as they do. Like, I was able to identify, understand, and really sympathize with the story, but on an emotional level, I did not feel connected. But again, I'm not the target audience, so that actually makes sense. And for a 2009 horror, I think the CGI effects and little practical effects were pretty good, as we didn't get a lot of close-up shots, but I was satisfied with the bloody moments we did get. Overall, Jennifer's Body is an entertaining horror comedy that delivers its empowering plot points and tones very well, while also being fun and bloodthirsty. So now it's time for me to get into my in-depth thoughts about this movie. So if you have not seen Jennifer's Body yet, I recommend to go watch it, come back to this video, because full spoilers are starting right now. So first thing I want to say is that when this movie started, it kind of like had this tone where I did not expect it. I did not expect it to start off with this like teen drama type of tone, as it kind of like made me feel a little awkward, not awkward, but like felt anticlimactic, because I thought this movie would be more like horror like instead of like a teen drama like tone. Like the movie basically opens up with Needy narrating the movie, and I thought that was an interesting choice. It kind of reminded me of like how they had Katie Heron and Lindsay Lohan narrating Mean Girls. It kind of like gave me that feel when I first started the movie. And then just right off the bat, when we get to see Needy and Jennifer together, it's just clear that there's some subliminal like subtle messaging about like Needy having a crush on Jennifer, because they're two best friends that like have nothing in common. They're like those two best friends where it seems like you would not expect them to be best friends, but they just are. And it just seems there's something between them that is just not talked about. Like there's a mystery behind their relationship, and you can just tell that the reason Jennifer like is best friends with Needy is because she likes to be in control. We see how Jennifer likes to mistreat Needy a little bit, and she's like really bossy towards her, while Needy is trying to follow her and be like Jennifer. And we see this as Jennifer invites Needy to a bar, and someone who isn't really a drinker, she's like one of the good, like a good girl, but she goes anyway to be with her best friend to support her. And during this whole scene at the bar and like with the fire and everything, it all just seems like it's like not in a serious tone. And as I was watching this movie, I was texting my best friend Issa, and I was like, I thought this movie was gonna have a serious tone. She's like, no, it's a comedy. I'm like, what? It's a horror comedy? And at that point I was like, oh, okay, now I get why they're doing this. This is like this. It's supposed to be a comedy as well. It just made a lot more sense. And then we get the cameo of Chris Pratt, which I was like, oh my god, Chris Pratt, like before Parks and Recs is in here. But yeah, then we get the shot of them getting out of the fire, and then Jennifer gets into the van, the low shoulder band. And it's almost like you're with Needy. You're being like, don't get that van, don't go, like don't go, because it's just all bad vibes. But she gets in the van, and you just see like the fear on Megan Fox's face, and you're just like, wow, oh my god, what are they going to do to her? Like, what's going to happen? Not so long after, we get to see Megan Fox covered in blood in Needy's kitchen. And it kind of reminds me, this scene kind of reminded me of like, kind of like a cliche, not for a bunch of movies where people get possessed, where like in Venom, for example, they just get really hungry and like they're like kind of like going through the transformation, it seems. And that's kind of like what we see when she's standing in Needy's house. It's like her going through the transition, but not like fully aware of what's happening. She's kind of like she's disassociating a little bit. She just does not seem like herself. But the next scene where we see them at school the day after, Jennifer appears normally, like makeup and everything, like she's not pale, and she just seems really emotionless, and like she doesn't really care about the people that got hurt in the fire. And it kind of makes sense with her being possessed by a demon. She loses her soul, and she loses that ability to sympathize and to feel emotion, and it's almost like she has no remorse or no care for anybody, not even like the people around her, it seems. We then cut to the scene of Jennifer seducing the football captain, and let me just say, this guy, he does not look like a teenager. Whoever did the casting for this movie, this dude looks like he's like almost 40. I'm just saying. like this dude, he does not look like a teenager at all. But we don't get to see him get killed, but the first scene of seeing Jennifer's face open up, her mouth open, you're just like, oh my god, like the effects were actually pretty good. And I was a little skeptical about that, because this is 2009, CGI isn't like a big thing yet. It's right after Iron Man came out, but it seems like they used the budget and like the effects wisely. And so you just see her open her mouth, like you're just like, oh my god. But again, this is like the first death, so it's like one of those deaths where you don't really care about them at all, and they're just like a throwaway character. You just get the feel of what this movie is, what is happening, basically what the story is about, and you get little hints to what actually happened to Jennifer and what she actually is. We then learn that Jennifer, when she doesn't feed normally, she appears sick, and like she's like really pale, like she gets weak if she doesn't feed, which is a normal thing for like in vampire movies, like movies like this where people have to feed on humans. So she accepts a date with this kid played by Kyle Gallner, which was a great surprise. I thought this character that Kyle plays, Colin, I've seen him before in like pictures and stuff, and I thought he was in Scott Pilgrim versus the World. I don't know why I thought he was in that movie, but I was like, oh my god, that's a great surprise. She accepts his invite to a date, and that's when she brutally kills and devours him. And this is like one of those deaths where I'm like, come on, you can just tell how sweet Colin is. And like, even when Jennifer makes a move on him, he's like, do you even know my last name? Like, he's just such a sweetheart. And so it's like why kill this dude off? Like, he did not deserve this at all. This is like one of those scenes where you're just like, okay, this is like going too far. Jennifer, I'm not with you. I'm against all of this right now, because he did not deserve that. Like, okay, you can kill the jock because he was probably a douche or something, but Colin literally did nothing wrong. And then you just go and kill him like that. And then at the same time, Needy and her boyfriend Chip are hooking up for the first time, and Needy is able to sense something is happening to Colin, or like Jennifer is doing something, and like she gets a vision of Jennifer killing Colin. So as she's freaking out and trying to understand these visions that she's having of Jennifer, she goes home, and that's when Jennifer appears in her bed, and then Jennifer tries to seduce Needy by kissing her. This is where it's kind of like clear that, okay, the subliminal messages in this movie are like real. There is definitely chemistry and something going on between Jennifer and Needy that's been unspoken about for a while now. But Needy is able to not fall for Jennifer's like seductions, and she demands an explanation from her. And that's when Jennifer explains to Needy what happened to her the night that the fire happened and Low Shoulder like kidnapped her in the van. And we learn that the band was offering Jennifer as a virgin sacrifice to Satan in exchange for fame and fortune. So basically, they were basically sacrificing Jennifer to the devil, and because she was not a virgin, instead the demon was put into Jennifer, and that's how she became this succubus. And I'm like, okay, that actually sounds interesting. That actually sounds pretty insane. So now this succubus demon is possessing Jennifer. And then we also learned that Jennifer actually killed this kid that we thought died in the fire, but no, she killed him as he was lost trying to get back after the fire. And so after leaving Needy's house in the beginning of the movie, she actually killed him, and you're just like, oh my god, wait, she killed him? Like, he was so innocent. How could you, like, this is the part where you're just like, okay, Jennifer literally is heartless at this point. She's emotionless. And then she also reveals that she had intended to eat Needy as well, but left because she could not bring herself to hurt her best friend. And at this point, you can see how, when it comes to anyone else, Jennifer does not care at all. But when it comes to Needy, Jennifer will, like, kill them. Like, she's, like, possessive, and, like, she really cares about Needy. My best friend was kind of explaining to me, because it's like, it seems like anyone that is close to Needy or like shows interest in Needy or Needy talks highly of, Jennifer seems to go after them, kill them, or feed on them. And so after we get this explanation, Needy at the school goes to the library and she reads upon to find out what Jennifer actually is, which is a succubus who must feed on flesh and can only be killed while she is hungry and weak. And then Needy tries to tell Chip, her boyfriend, about Jennifer, which you know, he does not believe. And so she distances himself from Chip. But then Chip, on the way to the school dance, lies to him and tells Chip that Needy cheated on him with Colin. And so now we see Jennifer going after Chip, who is Needy's boyfriend, and she seduces him, takes him to this abandoned pool, feeds on him. That's when Needy arrives, and they have this whole altercation where there's some great one-liners, like we get to see Jennifer like fly, and Chip is like, oh my god, she can fly, and then Needy, who was kind of jealous by that, she was like, she's just hovering, it's not that impressive. And it's just like little lines like that where they're just so quotable and so cheesy, but also so good at the same time. And it's like lines like that really get me. Like, I believe there was one earlier where Jennifer shows up at Needy's house and she's like, I smell Thai food, have y'all two been fucking, or something like that. There's just lines like that throughout this movie where you just laugh at them. You're just like, that's such an iconic line. But yeah, anyway, eventually after we get Needy and Jennifer going back and forth, Chip is able to impale Jennifer through the stomach with a sharpened pool skimmer. And while Jennifer is able to escape, Needy watches Chip die right in front of her. This was such like a sad and like scene where you can definitely feel like the emotion, how heavy the scene is. But I'm not even gonna lie, I thought Colin's death was more heartbreaking and more painful than watching Chip die. But then Needy breaks into Jennifer's room, the two fight, and then Jennifer bites Needy in the shoulder, and Needy rips Jennifer's best friend necklace off her neck, basically ending their friendship. And Jennifer just stops fighting back, realizing like she's gone too far, and allows Needy to stab her in the heart with a box cutter, killing her and destroying the demon. Jennifer's mother enters, finds Needy on top of her daughter's dead body, and then that's when Needy was brought to the asylum that she was at in the intro of the movie. And we get to see that she now manifests some of Jennifer's powers, like being able to hover and like the super strength. And so she then escapes the mental facility, and as ending credits roll, we get to see Needy tracking down Low Shoulder, the band who possessed Jennifer to begin with. We get to see a home video and crime scene photos of Low Shoulder being murdered in their hotel. It's done in this like comedic way where you just laugh at all the different like photos that you get to see. It's just some entertaining and clever fun. But yeah, before even making this video, I rewatched Jennifer's Body, and I'm like, oh my, like, I did not realize how rewatchable this movie really is. And as I'm watching it, I'm like, okay, this movie is actually growing on me a bit. Like when I ranked Jennifer's Body, I gave it a B-. And I feel like the second time that I've watched this movie, the movie has grown on me a little bit more. And I feel like each time I watch this movie, since it's such a rewatchable movie, the movie will just grow on me even more. And I'll begin to like it even more each time. And I just love movies like that, because now I'm starting to see why so many people have this movie as their comfort movie. It's kind of like why Scream is like one of my favorite movies of all time, because it's such a rewatchable movie where even if you've seen it a bunch of times, you still feel the suspense and the drama. And then in this movie, you can it's just really entertaining, and you just feel entertained each time you watch it. And so I can really see why so many people have this cult classic as one of their favorites. But so yeah, that's my review of Jennifer's Body. I really enjoy this movie. It's not one of my favorite movies, but it's like one of those movies where it's like you can have fun with it and it's entertaining, but it's not like a masterpiece of a movie. So with that in mind, I give Jennifer's Body a B-. So if you enjoyed this review, drop a like, subscribe if you are new and find yourself coming back to my videos on regular, and join the Grimpire. Turn post notifications on to get notified when I do post next. My next video is going to be of the 2016 movie The Night Stalker, which is about Richard Ramirez. So that's my next review. I hope y'all if you're looking forward to that, subscribe and turn post notifications on. If you'd like to follow me on my socials, I have my socials down in the description below. I have my Snapchat, my Instagram, my Twitter, where I'm more active on my Twitter, but I'm also trying to be more active with my Instagram and Snapchat. So if you'd like to follow me on those will be down in the description. I will also post a link in the description for anyone who can donate to Gaza and the Palestinians in the West Bank, for anyone who can donate to Palestine and help the children and the families in Gaza. And if you can't donate, you can please share and talk about what's happening in our world, because this needs to stop. Innocent Palestinians are being killed, slaughtered, and Israel is committing mass genocide, and whoever supports this or ignores the terrorism that is being committed is the problem. So if you can, please donate. If you can't donate, just please share this, educate yourself, and talk about what's happening in the East, because so many people are being complicit in this genocide, whether ignoring what's happening or actively supporting the violence that is occurring. I'll have a link down below in the description for anyone who can share, educate yourself, or even donate. That's provided by Operation Olive Branch. It's the link tree, and they have a bunch of links where you can donate to provide diapers and formula to babies. You can help children in need. You can help provide food. There's so many options, and then you have forms and navigation, mutual and direct aid, ways to spread the word. Like, it's so organized and so well documented that they even have a frequently asked questions tab where if you have a question that you might not be certain about, they have that here too. So if you can, please go to the link in the description and help share and spread and show awareness for the genocide that's going on in Gaza right now. And so if you have access to Peacock, I recommend checking out Jennifer's Body right now.